Chicken a la king. Is it fancy or is it comfort food? Actually, it's both, and my easy recipe makes a dish that is perfect for a casual meal or for your fanciest dinner party. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We share recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, and we share entertaining tips too. Now we try and keep it all as simple as we can, especially for those of you out there who say that you just can't cook or entertain, because we know that you really can. So if you like this episode, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get a new episode every single week. Today, our celebration is all about an old classic dish, one that's been kind of forgotten and pushed to the back of the line that I think needs to come forward and have some more time in the spotlight. We're making chicken a la king. So let's get started. I've got some ingredients here, starting with my favorite Dutch oven, shallow one. This is one of my favorites. Now, I have a whole stick of butter, 4 ounces or 113 grams. We're going to just start off with a couple of tablespoons in the pan, not the whole thing yet. We're going to get this melting a little bit. Just has to melt, doesn't have to sizzle or burn, just melt gently. Chicken a la king needs chicken, right? So I have 2 large boneless, skinless chicken breasts. All I did to these was I just put them into bite-sized pieces, just dice them up, and then I season them well with salt and pepper, and now just let them sit and be at room temperature. So all that season is just soaking into them. They're all ready to go. So I'm going to get my pan a little hotter. There we go. Now the chicken is going to go right in. All we really want to do is brown this chicken. It may not cook all the way through, and that's okay. Though these small pieces probably will cook all the way through. And the reason we're doing that, we're building flavor, and it'll make the rest of the dish go a lot faster. So this just takes maybe 5-7 minutes, if that. It goes pretty quickly. All right, the chicken is started nicely. I'm going to pull it out and put it in a bowl, set aside, and then we'll build the rest of the sauce. Now let's make the rest of the sauce. We're going to start with mushrooms. I have here 6 ounces or 170 grams of cremini mushrooms. I just sliced them thinly. They're going to go right in. Lovely. To that, I'm going to add 1 green bell pepper that I just cut into a good sized dice, bite size. Right in. Now I want to give this a little seasoning, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. So we're seasoning our layers. We're just going to stir this up. Let this start to saute a bit, kind of reduce down, and get a little brown. Again, just takes a few minutes, maybe 5. And what's happening is it's adding to the flavor in the bottom of the pan. We've got brown bits from the chicken. This is adding to it. I'm also going to add in the rest of the butter to help this sauce come along. My vegetables are nice and soft now, and they're starting to render all their liquid, which is what we want. That's all that flavor. but we have to start thickening the sauce. So we're going to add flour. I have here a half a cup of all-purpose flour, which is 63 grams, right in. This is going to mix with the butter and it's going to make a roux. Now, it's okay that we're mixing this with the vegetables. It's all part of the flavor. The flour is going to soak up all of that butter and the juices from the vegetable, and it's going to help it caramelize and, again, more flavor. I can't stress that enough. Building layers of flavor. We just stir this in. We're just going to give it another minute or so because you want to cook out that raw flour taste. You don't want that raw flour. Ooh. Okay, I think my flour's cooked out now. I'm going to add some liquid. First, I'm going to add some chicken stock. Now I have a nice strong chicken stock here. This is 2 cups or 473 mils. Right in. What this is doing is it's deglazing the bottom of the pan. I'm going to crank the heat up a bit. And we just want to give this a stir, start mixing in that flour. And it's going to start to thicken pretty quickly. But you want to stir it, scrape up off the bottom of the pan, all those lovely bits. That flour, the vegetables and chicken that are stuck on the bottom. Next is some cream, heavy cream. This is 3/4 of a cup or 177 mils. I'm going to go right in. Give it a stir. All right. This is smelling wonderful. Now it's time to add the chicken back in. Here's that cooked chicken. So I'm going to go right back in along with any little juices that are here. Stir it in. We're not quite done. Still more flavor. Frozen peas. This is 6 ounces or 170 grams. Right in. This is going to add a little sweetness, a little texture. Starting to thicken. What I really want to do is bring this up to the boil and then let it simmer. And one more ingredient before that happens, and that's pimentos. This is traditional in this dish. This is about 4 ounces or 113 grams. It's just one little jar. Now, pimentos are a type of pepper. They're not the same as a roasted red bell pepper. They're similar, but it's just a different type. This is the little red thing in olives and stuffed olives, if you've seen that. It's going to add some color, a little bit of flavor. All right, this is starting to bubble, which is good, which means it's going to thicken up. So I'm going to lower the heat, and I'm going to cover this and let this simmer for maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20, because I want all these flavors to get together, get to know one another. I want the sauce to thicken through, and I want everything heated all the way through. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. So before we do any plating or anything, I want to take a look and I want to check it for seasoning. Make sure it has enough salt and pepper, etc. Let's take a peek. Ooh. Now I did just turn the heat off, but it's still piping hot. Nice and thick and luscious. So let's give it a little taste. Right from the edge. That's pretty good. I do want just a tiny bit more salt. A little bit more pepper. And I want to use a little lift, a little brightness. You may have noticed this on the counter before, my favorite hot sauce. I'm going to add just a few dashes. It's not going to make it spicy. It's going to give a background. So on the back of your palate, get a little happiness. All right, we're going to mix this in. Then I'm going to show you a few ways to plate this up. Now it's time for our favorite time, the tasting. So how do you serve chicken a la king? Traditional way, over egg noodles. Pretty simple. Spoon it over the top. Just delicious. Sometimes they're nice over some nice fluffy Southern buttermilk biscuits. Again, casual, spoon it over the top. Lovely. But maybe I want to be a little fancy. So I took some pie crust and I cut it down and put it in a little muffin tin, and I made these beautiful little baskets. So we're going to carefully spoon some in. Just like that. It's okay if it tips over. All right. A little parsley for prettiness. There we go. Kind of fancy and fun. But let's just take a taste. That's the most important thing. How does it taste? My favorite way is right over egg noodles. And try some mushrooms. Wow. It's so good. The chicken is really tender, and it's just soaked up all those flavors and that cream, so it's luscious. Then the mushrooms add a little bit more meatiness to it. It's very complex. The peas will give a little sweetness and all these other different textures. What a wonderful meal. And so easy to make. I need to wash it down. A little wine, as always. That's nice too. Alrighty, so as always, guys, we will have this recipe and all the instructions up in the video description section on YouTube and on our website. We will see you on Tuesdays for our regular episodes and Fridays for our Basic Skills Day. So until next time, remember, you're all invited to come on over, come on in, let's celebrate. Cheers.